Hi, welcome to the Woodshop Nerdery. In this video, I'm reaching out for some help. In my last video covering this grinding jig, quite a few of you suggested that I should present the bevel of the tool not running into the direction of the belt, but to turn it around running away from the direction of the belt. And I did a lot of research before making that first video, and I've done a lot of research since making that video based on those comments, and I can't come up with a definitive answer. So if you can help me out by leaving your opinion in the comments about which direction the belt should run, I'd really appreciate it. Maybe we can get to the bottom of this. I have some other information to share with you that may impact your opinion about which direction is appropriate to run the belt. But before I get into those, let me answer just a few questions that also came up in the comments. Besides belt direction, the second most frequent comment had to do with the tool heating up on the belt. And why wasn't I dipping it in water? Well, I did have a cup stored down here of water like this, and I just would dip it in there every once in a while if needed. But honestly, I don't think I ever actually needed it. This system didn't really heat up the tool very much. I think that's partly because there's so much surface area on this 6" by 48" belt. Also, this platen is huge and thick. It's a 1/4 inch thick, so there's a lot of steel behind here wicking away that heat. And I'm also running this at a fairly low feed rate. With my headstock set to slow, which is 700 RPMs, and this is a 3" drive drum on the belt sander here, that means the feet per minute rate of the belt was only 550. At those speeds, we're vastly reducing the danger of heating up the tool. There was also some confusion about my headstock. Some folks were sure that I had upgraded to a Power Pro, and they're correct. I purchased a Shopsmith Mark 7 earlier this year. This is the headstock from my old Shopsmith 510. And I've made it into a Shop Deputy, which I now use to drive almost all of my special purpose tools. And I'm definitely hanging on to this mechanical headstock. There's no way I'm getting rid of it. So in designing this jig, one of the systems I studied carefully was the Robert Sorby Pro Edge. This is a belt grinder sold by the same people who make those premium lathe chisels, and it seems to be a very popular way for wood turners to freshen up the edge on their lathe chisels. The belt on that grinder runs at 700 feet per minute, and it runs in the down direction, and all the instructions and demonstrations show the belt running into the bevel of the tool as I showed in my last video. So it's not running in reverse. Although their instructions do discuss an auxiliary honing wheel, which is a soft rubber material mounted on an auxiliary spindle, and of course with soft material, the feed direction is away from the bevel. By the way, if I did want to increase my belt sander to the 700 feet per minute rate to match the Robert Sorby Pro Edge, all I would have to do is turn the speed crank here until the dial read somewhere between B and C. That'd be about 900 RPM. Another interesting point about the Robert Sorby machine is that they boast a 1/4 inch thick platen, which this belt sander also has. In addition to the Pro Edge machine, Grizzly makes several examples. One is the G0898, which is a 2 by 48" belt grinder. And it runs at 4,000 feet per minute. And again, it runs in the down direction. There's also the Grizzly H7760, which basically looks like a bench grinder with a belt attachment on it. It's a 2 by 27" belt size, and it also runs at 4,000 feet per minute. And again, in the down direction. And if you want to get serious, there's the Grizzly G1015 knife grinder, sander, and buffer. It's a 2 by 72" belt system that runs at 3,600 feet per minute. Again, in the down direction. And there's two popular belt sanders from Harbor Freight. The 1 by 30" belt sander, which runs at 3,260 feet per minute, and the 4 by 36" belt sander, which runs at 1,800 feet per minute. Again, both of those run in the down direction, and I've seen several examples of folks making sharpening systems, again, with the belt running into the bevel. In some cases, people are making sharpening systems using belt sanders like this. In most of those examples, the belt is running away from the bevel. There's another Shopsmith tool that can be used for sharpening. It's the Shopsmith strip sander. It's a 1" by 42" belt size. And assuming the lower drive wheel is 4 inches, running the headstock at 700 RPM would mean the belt speed would be 700 feet per minute approximately. It's designed to sit on this side of the headstock, which means the belt direction would be going down. And of course the table mounts like this so that the belt is pushing the workpiece down into the table. However, when the chisel sharpening attachment is attached, you'll see in Shopsmith photos and videos that the strip sander is then mounted to the other side of the headstock, which means the belt will run in the up direction. So in standing in front of the tool and presenting the tool like this, the belt is running away from the bevel. Although I couldn't find any documentation saying that switching direction was required, and in one of the videos, a statement is made that with the sandpaper, you can run the belt in either direction. But if using a leather strop, you obviously have to run it in the reverse direction because it's a softer material. Now there's two ways I could change the belt direction relative to grinding with this belt sander. One is I can move it to the other side of the headstock and mount the drive spindle here. I don't particularly like that idea. I'm not sure if this system is really designed to run in reverse. And also, that would be shooting sparks up at the ceiling. And let me demonstrate my second option. So with the sander laying flat, the belt is running in this direction still. I flipped around my jig, so now I could present the tool this way with the belt running away from the bevel. And I'll say that this doesn't feel too bad in terms of ergonomics, but I think I do like standing up in front of the belt sander better. I do agree that there's some risk to running the edge into the belt sander. Maybe it could get caught, or maybe the edge could dig into the belt sander, or maybe the downward action could push the tool off suddenly. It could happen. We have lots of examples of sharpening with the belt running into the bevel. We have lots of examples of sharpening with the belt running away from the bevel. Most of the belt grinders on the market run in a down direction, which would require the user to either hold the knife or the tool upside down. With a knife, that wouldn't be so bad, but with a tool, it might get a little difficult. But I can say for sure that I would be pretty uncomfortable running the belt direction into the bevel if circumstances were a little different. For example, if I had a cheaper belt sander with sort of a thin, flexible platen, I might be a little nervous. If that belt sander ran at 3,600 or 4,000 feet per minute, I might be a little nervous. But given that this unit runs at a pretty low speed, 550 feet per minute, or a little higher if I want to, and that I've got a nice solid platen behind here, I do think that mitigates some of the risks. But I don't know. You tell me. Leave a comment, please. What do you think? Well, that does it for this woodshop nerdery video. I hope to see you in the next one.